Hello, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome to Recovering Out Loud podcast. My name is Anthony. I'm an addict and alcoholic in recovery. Been in recovery since 2015. Had a relapse at about the 8-year mark, 7.5-year mark, and I'm back with a year and a half clean and sober again. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I'm going to do another borrowed wisdom episode. I'm going to read the highlight clips, the highlight quotes from some of my favorite speaker tapes. And today we have a good one on feelings and your feelings not being your reality. So your feelings being real, but not having to run the show today. Emotional sobriety, things that'll keep you sober long term from somebody that has many years of recovery and sobriety. A lot of good wisdom in this episode. It's from Don M, and we are going to get into it. He touches on everything from ego and self-centeredness to action versus feeling to deceptiveness of the disease of alcoholism. We get a step, in a sense, into his mind and the way his mind works. And I think you'll find a lot of similarities in the way my mind works, at least. We talk about rock bottom. We talk about steps and instructions, sponsorship, bottoming out, and relationships and active addiction and spiritual growth. So let's get into it. Okay, on self-centeredness and the ego. So first, Don says, the way you feel has always been the most important thing in the universe to you. I love this idea of noticing that my feelings are not the most important thing in the world. And that's not to say that your feelings don't matter or they're irrelevant. They are valid, but they don't need to run your show today. They don't need to call the shots in your life. They don't need to make decisions for me. My feelings today are not the most important thing in the universe to me. What is the most important thing in the universe to me is my actions. The way I show up in the world, in my relationships. Am I a good person? Am I living rightly? Am I following a set of principles? Am I sober? And am I emotionally sober? So am I physically sober and am I emotionally sober? Am I able to show up as my true authentic self? Am I asking for help? Am I being authentic? Am I being honest? Am I practicing hope, faith? Am I practicing service? Am I practicing humility? Awareness? Am I aware of how I'm acting in the world? Yesterday, I'm riding my bike downtown Toronto, and I see this guy in a Tesla going full speed from left lane to right lane. I'm in a dedicated bike lane, okay? Full speed stop, directly cuts over 3 lanes from left to right and just slams his brakes right in front of me. Now, I saw this coming, so I was defensively biking, I guess you could call it, defensively driving. I slowed down with enough time to not smoke the back end of this guy's trunk. If I wasn't paying attention, it was a split-second thing. I could have ended up on the floor, injured, maybe dead. No, I was not wearing a helmet, so don't yell at me. But at the end of the day, I have control over my action in that moment. Now, here's my point with all of this. My first emotion is pure anger. My brain is telling me to embarrass this guy, show him, yell at him, slam into the back of his trunk so that he learns a lesson. I'm right, you're wrong. My ego is on full display in my head here. Here's the cool thing about recovery and meditation and what it has brought to my life. One of the most important tools in my life today, meditation. I don't need to act on my emotions. I can let them pass like trains at a train station. I don't need to freak out and embarrass the guy. So what happened was I drove by him. He rolled down his window. I'm assuming he had sensors in his Tesla that probably went crazy when I almost smoked him from behind. And I just said, dude, you can't do that. This is a bike lane. Instead of, hey, you fucking idiot, and punching his window, because that's what I wanted to do. That's where my brain goes in. That's my first thought. And what was I taught? First thought wrong. My point is, I'm able today to create space between my feelings and my actions. I don't need to act on every emotion that pops up into my head. Whereas before, in addiction, active addiction, I'm running on self-will. I'm acting on every first emotion and first thought because I don't have awareness. I don't have control. I don't have the ability to pause, which is what recovery gives me, the ability to pause. Okay, next he says, alcoholism is an illness of superlatives. We don't tend to think in terms of good or bad. We tend to think in terms of best and worst. Yeah, that's me to a T, man. I'm an all or nothing guy. There's no middle of the road emotion for me, no middle of the road solution for me. I am black or white thinking. My default is black or white. It's either horrible or extremely good in my life today. I like to think, and I remind myself that I don't get to decide what's good or bad in my life today. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. My alcoholism, my addiction was at one point in my life the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was the biggest curse on planet Earth. How could I become a drug addict that can't drink or use normally? How did I get here? How did this happen? Today, it is the greatest gift, not even one of the greatest gifts. It is the greatest gift in my life. The ability to use a spiritual toolkit that has been forced upon me because I needed to change. Now I get to use that to live my life and be at peace and find serenity. There is so much pain and suffering in this world. I noticed it just yesterday when I went to do this lady's podcast with her, and I was a guest on a podcast. I'm standing outside and I'm watching people on the streets of Toronto, and I watched these two people get into an altercation over the sidewalk. One guy was walking his dog. The other girl said something because she didn't have space to walk on the sidewalk. He called her names I hadn't heard before. She responded with even worse slurs and remarks. And it was just a horrible, horrible, uncomfortable energy in the air. And I witnessed this all happening. People are angry, man. There's a suffering in the world. What a gift for me to be able to not indulge in that and not have to be at war with my fellow, with the rest of God's children. I can coexist and be a nice person and just be at peace. I don't have to buy into that negative energy because I'll tell you this, those two people were probably in their head for at least the next 10, 20 minutes. If it was me, I would have been in my head all day about how I reacted in that situation, how I felt bad and how that person wronged me and resentment. I don't need to buy into resentment today. I can check it and move on. Okay, next he says, I have all my life been perfectly capable of feeling too good for something and not nearly good enough for the same thing at the same time. Oh man, so many good juxtapositions. And as alcoholics and addicts, we have this ability of feeling too good to do something or for someone, and then not nearly good enough at the same time for the same thing. It's this weird, I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world, but I'm also the most important piece of shit in the world. I am too good, but at the same time, also not good enough. It's this weird dichotomy as an alcoholic addict to feel like you're better than everyone, but worse at the same time. If you know, you know. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay, next he says, I've had to be careful all my life, drunk and sober, not to be a legend in my own mind. Yeah, this is an important part of recovery, that we can't get too big on ourselves, too high on ourselves, because that's kind of an easy thing to do when we come in here and we start to get our life back and things start to fall into place and we start to feel good again. We can really easily outgrow recovery. I think that's why I relapse. That's why a lot of people relapse, is they get too big for recovery, too good for recovery. Their life gets big and then they start blaming the world for their problems, but all the successes are my own. None of this is my own. I'm here to tell you. I followed a plan, somebody else's plan that they got from somebody else, and my life is amazing today because I followed that plan. None of it is my doing. This is all the universe, God, and me just showing up continually. I have zero control over the outcomes in my life, the results. I leave them up to the universe, which I choose to call God, a power greater than myself. None of that is my doing. And this is a hard thing for us to really wrap our heads around, and me certainly, because with hustle culture and Alex Hormozy and this kind of, you got to go after it and get it and nothing's going to come to you. There's a interesting counterpoint to that of not trying to control the outcomes and having the outcomes come anyways if you just do the next right thing. So I look at it this way. I just try to focus on doing the things I ought to be doing in recovery, the small do things, the prayer, the meditation, the journaling, the meetings, whatever your thing is, the service, and then just not having expectations of how it's going to turn out, but knowing that I'll be taken care of. I don't know what the next chapter is going to be, but I trust the author. And the author is not me. I can do the things on a day in and day out basis, but in the long run, I have zero control over the outcomes, the results. So the more I try to control them, the worse my life gets. The more I just focus on today and the next right thing and leave the results up to the universe, God, higher power, the better my life gets. Okay, we're getting into the feelings part. So he says, what I have finally learned by the grace of God is that while my feelings are real and my thoughts are real, they are not reality. Yes, 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 yes. This is the whole crux of the whole talk, which I love. Your feelings are real. They are valid. However, they are not always true. They're not necessarily truth. They are not reality. I can spin stories about any circumstance to tell you it's horrible, it's bad, it's this and that. If it's raining, today it's raining. It's a bad day because I put a story on it and say it ruined my barbecue. Therefore, it's raining, therefore it's bad because it ruined my barbecue. It ruined my day. When halfway around the world, somebody that's a farmer might tell you they're happy when it rains. Somebody that has a garden that hasn't gotten watered in a long time, can't afford water, will tell you it's a good day because their crops are being watered. It's a good day because look how beautiful the rain is. What a gift. Perspective, perception, disease of perception. I need to shift my perception today. My perception is the problem. My thinking is the problem. The drinking was just it was a solution, a failed solution, but it was just a side effect. It was a symptom of my alcoholism. It was my relief, my off switch. Okay, next he says, recovery did not necessarily mean those things would go away. It meant I would get to the point where I could usually recognize they were not reality and I did not have to obey them. I don't have to build a shrine to a feeling. Okay, he goes on to say, the only therapy that has ever done any good was going on and doing the right thing when I didn't feel like doing it. If I keep waiting to feel like doing the right thing, to do the right thing, that's what I always want. And it never comes. You're never going to feel like doing things you ought to be doing. Maybe you will one day. I found that after time, you will start to feel like doing it. You will start to enjoy doing it. But there's a lot of more time, I would argue, spent in not feeling like doing the things, the do things, the thing, whatever it is, pushing through fear. Going on and doing the right thing when I didn't feel like doing it. This spreads across so many aspects. Anything you want in life, anything, is going to rely on your ability, going to depend on your ability to show up when it's uncomfortable, to show up when your brain is telling you it's not worth it, to show up when your brain is, despite your best thinking. My best thinking says I'd rather stay on the couch and watch Netflix instead of go to this thing, do this podcast for this person, show up. Think about all the things that impact the outcome of your life just by choosing to say yes. How many things have you said yes to where if you follow the thread has turned out to be the greatest gift ever or something you never expected? I'm trying to say yes more in my life today because that's my problem is I default to no because it's comfortable. It's comfort. It's really, it's peaceful. It's quiet. It's easy to say no. My life usually gets better when I say yes to more things, to new experiences, to things I don't feel like doing. It's been my experience that I've never been ready to do said thing. And I just do it anyways. And then the outcome, the reward is later. Delayed gratification versus instant gratification of picking up the drugs and the instant relief of picking up the alcohol. What difference does it make whether I feel like going to work? I've got to go to work. It really doesn't matter. I have to go to work. Whether I feel like it or not, I have to go. If I want to earn a good living, if I want to keep my house, if I want to be a contributing member of society, if I want to be a giver, not a taker. I can never name the ultimate veto power in my brain because it always feels like common sense. Yeah, that first thought wrong comes to mind here. The ultimate veto power, that I don't want to do that. Nope, not doing it. Closed-mindedness. It always feels like common sense in the moment. Your brain will trick you and tell you that this is rational. This is justified. You're right. They're wrong. This is the way. Don't worry about it, Anthony. Choose comfort over pain. No insane idea ever wakes up and says, "Good morning, Dawn. I'm a crazy idea, and I'm here to try and kill you today." It says, "Good morning, Dawn. I'm common sense." Oh, man. Love this guy. My bottoms today are about 85% a decision. So he's talking about rock bottoms here. My bottoms today are about 85% a decision over which I've got a world of control. So he's saying majority of his decisions are of his own making, his own rock bottoms are what he chooses to continue doing. My intentions do not become decisions until I'm acting on them. You can have all the good intentions in the world. I have an intention to get sober, to stay sober. Until you do something about it, it's just a thought. It's just an emotion. It's not real. It's not reality. It's in your head. It has all the power over you because it is in your head on repeat, and you are justifying, rationalizing it until it feels comfortable, or until you're at rock bottom and you need to do something about it to change. My rock bottoms are always the same. They are decisions that I will do anything to keep from feeling the way I've been feeling and living the way I've been living. Recovery on alcoholism. So whatever your recovery program is, 12-step, smart recovery, Buddhist, whatever your practice is, they're just like penicillin that works on an infection. I don't need to understand it. I just need to take it as directed. It's like a prescription, man. Recovery is like a prescription, and it's free. And the side effects are all good. Maybe they're painful in the moment, but the great result of recovery and doing recovery things is a contented, sober life and freedom. I don't need to understand it. Life is lived forward and understood in reverse. Recovery is the same way. The things I'm doing today don't really make sense. It's like the Karate Kid. If you've ever watched the original Karate Kid, he has to wax on and wax off his master's car. He doesn't understand why he's doing it. He's pissed off, he's annoyed, and he keeps doing it. He keeps showing up because he trusts his master. He wants what he has, what his master has, and he keeps doing it. He's waxing his car, it doesn't make any sense. It seems like it's only benefiting the master. The final fight scene comes, and Daniel-san goes to block a punch and realizes that he uses the wax on, wax off mechanism to win the fight. It's in that moment when it all makes sense. All the training, all the carrying the water and chopping wood up until that point, all the washing of the car, the wax on, wax off has won him the fight. And suddenly it all comes into focus and makes sense. Just keep going. Sobriety is not a learning process. Recovery is a doing process, not a learning process. This is a program of action. I need to act my way into good thinking. I can't think my way into good action. I can't think my way out of my problems. I can't think my way into being a good person. I need to act my way into being a man of integrity, a man that I can look in the mirror and say, hey, this guy's pretty cool. I like this guy. I like what's looking back at me today. I actually love what's looking back at me today. Way to go, man. You've come a long way. You can't put out a fire with gasoline. Treating an illness of self-centeredness with more obsession on self simply is not going to work. I ask God to remove every defective character that stands in the way of my usefulness to God and my fellows. I don't get a vote on which ones. I just ask to be removed my character defects. I don't pick and choose which one. That's pouring gasoline on a fire. I am using self-will to try and be a better person, to try and show up in the world. It's not going to work. A sick mind isn't going to fix a sick mind. I need help every day. So now he talks about when you first come in, when you're in active addiction coming in for the first time, or you're a newcomer. You are way too sick to have any valid thoughts, feelings, or beliefs whatsoever. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are your illness. Yes, first thought wrong. Now, you get some recovery time and you start to heal and you start to recover. But when you're first coming in, man, you're riddled with alcoholism and it's run rampant in your life. Your brain is wired to choose alcohol and drugs over work, over family, over recovery, because that's what you're so used to. Your mind is trained to do that. Just be aware of that. You might need more help than you think, and that's okay. We all did. We all do. Whether you live or die is going to be determined solely by what you do. Yeah. The only difference between me and the guy that can't get sober, I say this all the time, the only difference is that I took one action contrary to my best thinking in the beginning. And then I continued to take that action contrary to my best thinking. I don't really agree or believe with a lot of stuff I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyways because it's working for you. And I have hope that maybe there's another way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know how to get sober and I need help. Maybe I'm more screwed than I thought I was. And maybe there is a way out. I'm here to tell you there is. And it's not your way. It's not my way. It's not my default thoughts, my default plan. My plan ended me up in hotel rooms using drugs and alcohol by myself. My spiritual progress has been a couple steps in the right direction. Get knocked over, get up, start over and say, whoops, excuse me, and just keep going. If I had made a list of everything I thought at 9 years sober was the best I could have, I would have shortchanged myself in every area of my life. I'm going to leave you with that today. If I wrote down the way my life would have turned out, even at 1.5 years sober, again, I would have shortchanged myself every area of my life, every single time. I can't see the great plan. Whatever you're going through today, if you're suffering, struggling, like I have been, I feel like I'm on the other side of it. I'm in a peak right now, not a valley, because I kept showing up and trusting the process. My debt problems are a lot more manageable. It's still there, but I'm looking at it through a different lens. I'm looking at it like, hey, this is a benefit to me. What a gift. I learned how to budget properly again, and I learned how to not buy things I don't need. It's been painful and stressful, but I'm alive. I have food on the table. My house is, I have a roof over my head. What a gift. And I'm sober today. I'm here to tell you, whatever you're going through, it's simply a part of the plan. Just keep going. This is all a part of the plan. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. I promise you. Just keep doing the next right thing. Stick to recovery. Choose action over feelings, and you will be okay. If no one has told you this yet, I love you. Please follow and like the podcast. I appreciate every single one of you. Recovery is simple, not easy.